My name is Dominique Kirchell, probably better known as Dominique Darko on the interwebs. I am a special effects makeup artist. I do a lot of like indie films and whatnot. I am a tattoo apprentice. I do artwork commissions, act every now and then, some like modeling.
That's quite a rounded list of things. It's weird because that's kind of how life works.
I've been like all over the place all the time. When I graduated high school, I wanted to be a tattoo artist. Like I never took my SATs. I never planned on going to college. It was like, I'm gonna get an apprenticeship. I'm gonna be a tattoo artist. Ended up like all the apprenticeships I had lined up fell through for like stupid reasons. So I sat around for a year and then I was like, okay, well I'm gonna go to college. So I started out as like a fine arts major and then I was like, this ain't for me. Everyone always told me I should do like animation. Went to that and turns out I didn't really like it. I don't know. I stuck it out because I was like, maybe it'll get better. But so then I went to school for special effects. And it turns out I really like that, but then I had an opportunity to get an actual like apprenticeship. So I was like, I'm gonna do this now for tattooing. So now I just do like kind of everything. So like I've never really felt the pressure to like get a job doing what like I majored in. I think it's just boring to do like one thing. Like you can get burnt out faster doing one thing.
Your special effects experience has kind of informed what you want to do as a tattoo artist eventually, or vice versa.
In a way, they're related because you're dealing with transforming people's bodies, I guess, so much. I mean, one's permanent, one's not. But now that I do like tattoos, doing special effects stuff isn't as stressful to me because like that's not permanent. So if I like mess up a makeup, it's okay. Whereas like doing a tattoo, if I mess up, kind of sucks.
Yeah. I imagine. One of my leads in my first matte painting gig, I would get so stressed out. You'd be like, hey man, calm down. You're not saving lives. This is fun. Sort of going back to the higher education thing, because I know you went to a couple schools. You mentioned you went to a university where you studied animation, and then you went to a special effects, like practical school. Is that right?
The program I took for special effects was the Tom Savini special effects makeup program.
Oh, that's sick. That's so cool.
He got tattooed at our tattoo shop like not too long ago. It was pretty crazy.
Okay, this is a coincidence, because I'm wearing a
Yes, that's awesome. The Tom Savini School was very specialized in its courses. Like a lot of it was just things relating to like special effects. Yeah. There wasn't really that many like general education courses. The ones that were, it was like professionalism and stuff. Whereas at Edinburgh, I felt like I took more classes that didn't relate to like anything in like that industry.
Yeah.
It was just like, take this class because you have to. I would have rather had more classes at Edinburgh that kind of taught me about the inside stuff in like the industry, like what working on a set is like, just more about like your experience in this industry than like take a class about like, I don't know, what did I take? Stupid stuff. Like a regular college has too much filler that doesn't really help you in the long run. Like I had a class on like witchcraft, which was pretty cool, and like one about living with the dead, and it was about like human body disposal practices and like different cultures. And I mean, it was interesting, but still. I would rather have a class that would teach me about like what I'm going to be doing after this.
How to market yourself, how to...
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be hard-pressed to find an institution that actually teaches people how to sustain themselves as an artist.
Yeah, I think working with people is probably one of the most important things. Like, you can be the most talented person, but if you are a jerk, no one's going to want to work with you. As opposed to, like, maybe you're not as talented as, like, some people, but you're fun to be around. You're probably going to get more jobs than that jerky person. Learning how to deal with different people is what really school taught me the most. I mean, I don't know how it is other places, but I know like the Pittsburgh indie film community, everyone kind of knows each other. So if you get a bad reputation, you're kind of screwed after a while.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone gets into an artistic field to have fun. Like, I mean, it's still a job, but it's an enjoyable job. So if you have that person that's making it like horrible, there's no need for that.
It's important to just never let your ego grow bigger than your person.
Now that I have like this tattoo apprenticeship, it kind of gives me like a normal job to go to every day. But before that, when I was like just going off like the makeup jobs, spaces in between like getting hired for things where you're just sitting doing nothing. Like I thought it would be like constant because when I was still in the Tom Savini program, like I was getting makeup jobs. So, but then I had school, so I was always busy. So then after that, it was just kind of like for weeks I'm just sitting here doing like nothing.
Yeah, that is right. Speaking of which, I'm actually between films. The previous one I was working on wrapped, and then I have like a month and a half gap, and then the next one begins. So there's just this feeling of, well, you know, first you have to figure out if you can survive, and then you have to figure out something to do with yourself creatively.
I mean, I was never this way, but I feel like just from talking to other students and stuff, they think as soon as you get out of college, you're going to get a job. Where that's not the case, like, at all. And I feel like that discourages a lot of people, too, and I feel like that's why a lot of people give up on, like, what they originally, like, went to school for. Because they don't realize it's going to take a while. So they're like, oh, well, I give up. I'm going to do something easier.
I'm really fascinated by why people pursue art for a life goal. Why would you say you are pursuing art to this degree? Like, your whole life revolves around it.
When I was young, I didn't know you could do art as, like, a job. Like, I've always been, like, super artistic, sculpting out of, like, Play-Doh, drawing all the time. But it was never something I realized you could do as, like, work. So when I was younger, I wanted to be like a veterinarian, a marine biologist, a archaeologist. And then like halfway through high school, I got really into like watching movies. But still, I didn't know like how much went into making movies. So I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. That kind of like went out. And then I remember like the tattoo reality shows were like really popular. So then I wanted to be like a tattoo artist for like the longest time, which I still do, obviously. And then everyone always told me like, because I always do like cartoony stuff. So they're like, get into animation or comics or stuff. So that's why I went to school for that. And then I was like really into Face Off. Then I found the Tom Savini school and I was like, oh, that has to be like in California or something. Like I can never go there. And I found out it's like right outside of Pittsburgh. I didn't really like Edinburgh, so I'm gonna try this out. So I went there, loved it. And I don't know, I just kind of somehow fell into doing all these art things. But it makes sense because it's always been something I've enjoyed that like relaxes me. So it was never really like my plan to get into art related industries. It just kind of happened.
What do you do to stay inspired and motivated?
Normally I have like 50 projects going at once. So if I'm like burnt out on drawing, I'll sculpt for a little bit, find someone to do makeup on, or just kind of like always switching it up. But there's some days where I just need to take a break completely. And it's hard. It's still hard for me to like have a day where I don't do anything, but I'll like force myself to like sit and like play video games or like watch TV or something and just not think about it. You have to like know when you actually need a break.
Maybe I'm just a workaholic, but when I try and take a break like that, I'll get hit with an eventual sense of like guilt for all I could have accomplished.
Oh no, yeah, I feel that too, definitely. I just kind of think I do this every single day, all day, every day. So it's okay to have like one day. I mean, I still feel terrible about it and I still hate it, but
yeah.
You just have to like push for that and like force yourself. Your brain's just constantly in that mode. Plus, like when I relax too, it's like then I'll think of like more things I want to do, and then I'm like, crap.
If you could go back in time and talk to like the younger version of yourself that was still in school, what career advice would you give them? Just
don't stress out as much as like I did. School is supposed to be like the fun time. Learn as much as you can, like be in the studios and like the school as much as you can. Like don't take that for granted. The supplies they give you and stuff. Because like when you're out on your own and you have to buy like your own supplies and stuff, it sucks. It's gonna get more stressful when you leave school, so take that time to relax and enjoy it.
Those are all the formal questions I had for you. Do you have anything else you want to get out there?
I worked on this awesome web series, which is on Amazon Prime for free. I think it's $10 if you don't have Prime. It's called Theo and the Professor. It's all practical like effects. I did like a little bit of animation for it, and there's like some fancy stuff, but it's like all the monsters are like prosthetics and stuff. It's like a monster of the week type thing, like X-Files, Stranger Things, like very like kind of 80s vibe. I was the like lead makeup artist and creature designer on that.
It's been cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked what you saw, give us a like. If you didn't, don't.